Welcome to Aquila University. Today we are going to be discussing the eCTD publishing process. My name is Josh Boutwell, and I founded Aquila Solutions in 2010. Since then, we've assisted a variety of clients across the world with their eCTD publishing, SPL, regulatory operations, regulatory strategy, and anything else that our clients may need. Today, we are going to discuss the timeline for your eCTD and some things you should make sure to pay attention to when determining how much time you need to reserve to actually assemble your application prior to submission. Your clinical studies are done, your product is on stability, and you are looking forward to getting your new drug approved. Beware the publishing process. I don't know how many sponsors I've spoken to that have had dramatic misunderstandings about how long it would take to get all of their data, the data they spent anywhere from 3 to 20 years to collect, into something that the FDA can review in only a few months. It is incredibly common for sponsors to underestimate how much time and how many resources they need to actually assemble their application. For this presentation, we are going to be using a 505(b)(1) NDA. This is mainly because this is the largest submission type most sponsors will submit, and it typically has a very firm submission deadline that management or the sponsor or some other stakeholder is insisting upon. Any delay will be felt by these submissions. Just a quick note, if you are working on a different type of application, it will still have all of the same steps in roughly the same percentages. However, the specific numbers are likely to be slightly different. If you are new to this industry, you may not have heard of eCTD. This is the format that the FDA requires if you want to get an NDA, an ANDA, or a BLA. It is an international standard developed in the early 2000s and has replaced essentially all other standards for submitting clinical data to your application. An eCTD is primarily a backbone connecting PDF documents with a formal folder structure and naming scheme. This backbone is in the language of XML, or extendable mark. Now that we know what an eCTD is, what do you need to actually create one? Aquila has worked with dozens of clients and thousands of projects, and we found that the basic requirements boil down to the following 5 items. First, you need some sort of publishing system. This could be a purchase system, or it could be an outsourcing partner like Aquila that can provide the support for you. It is possible to create eCTDs using nothing more than Notepad and a PDF editor, but it takes a lot of experience, and most people will find that very, very difficult. So if you want to publish in-house, you will need some sort of publishing system. If you are using an outsourcing partner, generally the partner will provide everything else on this list. After the publishing system, you need some PDF tools. These are tools that allow you to do advanced manipulation on PDFs in order to create the links and bookmarks and to clean the documents effectively and efficiently, ranging from a few $100s per person for basic tools up through $3,000 to $5,000 per person for the more comprehensive tools. Next, you will need an eCTD validator. This is a software program that goes through your submission and ensures that you have met all of the technical requirements for submitting a compliant eCTD. For instance, all of the documents are in the right version. All of the links are actually valid. The documents open the correct way. They're named the correct way. Things along these lines. Aquila actually recommends that you have 2 validators. Since each validator is its own software and will work slightly differently, having 2 validators provides that extra level of insurance against a non-compliant eCTD. Next, you will need a manager-level RegOps publisher. This is someone with at least 3 and preferably 5 years of experience creating and submitting and honestly managing eCTDs for your region. This is a person that understands the requirements and the technical limitations of eCTD, and it is their responsibility to ensure that the application is assembled correctly, that anything that is submitted integrates well with what has been submitted before, as well as avoiding any issues that may come up in the future. And they typically function as the project manager for the publishing project. Finally, since the eCTD publishing task takes a lot of time, you need more than one publisher. We recommend having additional associate level publishers. You will need at least one, but preferably more, to handle the document level publishing and remediation work. These people are typically have about 6 months to a year of experience, and their responsibility is to take the document, clean it, and remediate it as necessary, and to conduct QC on each other and on the manager's work. Obviously, you have to have at least one so that the manager has someone who can QC their work and the associate can be QC'd by the manager. But for larger projects, you really want to have several associates or higher working on your documents to be able to process them in a timely manner. There are 4 major activities in any eCTD publishing project. The first is lifecycle planning. This is where you determine what documents you need and what your strategies are going to be for pursuing approval. Next is remediation. This is the document level processing where you clean the documents, you get them into the correct format, and you provide all the bookmarking and linking. Third is quality control, where you are ensuring that everything you have is exactly what you want. Finally, project management is the task where you manage the project as a whole, as well as take into account any technical things like file transfers or any other issues that you may run across. Life cycle planning takes approximately 5% of the total time. In this process, you are first determining the eCTD plan. This means the documents you intend to create, the content you need, any study reports, any stability studies, validation. All of this is determined in your eCTD plan. Next, using the plan, you create an outline of the backbone. Aquila usually uses an Excel file, however, there are a variety of techniques you can use. Finally, we use the outline to create the XML and file system for the final eCTD. Remediation is the largest single group of tasks that you will do for your application. This takes approximately 70% of the total time. This is where you are manipulating your individual documents, you are cleaning them, you are making sure they display correctly, and you are adding in all your bookmarks and links and connecting everything together. At Aquila, we break the remediation into 3 primary steps. Stage 1 is internal processing. This is where we are working with the content of a specific document. We are cleaning it, we're making sure. In stage 2, we take the documents and ensure that they match the eCTD design for the backbone. We will take documents and split them apart as needed. We will get them into the correct folder structure with the correct name, and we'll apply the headers and footers. This is also where we provide all the external linking required to connect the content of the document from one PDF to another. Finally, in stage 3, we verify that all the external links are placed and linked correctly. We convert all the PDFs to the correct version. We update any links or anything like that to a. You should expect the QC process to take about 15%. Finally, there is the project management. Just like any large project, you need to have someone who is monitoring the process of the project and ensuring all the milestones and timeframes are met. This typically takes about 10% of the overall project time. The reason it is so relatively high is we also include other activities that are not strictly project management. For instance, file transfer time. Some of these applications can be 10, 20 plus gigabytes. eCTD publishing always takes more resources than the sponsor plans. Based on the numbers provided here, a typical rule of thumb for how long to expect your NDA to take just to go from authored documents to your final hit the button send to the FDA is 2,000 man hours. The 505b1 applications that we've been talking about typically are at least 100,000 pages and 300 or more documents. Aquila tries to have a 4-month publishing project for these types of applications. Obviously, sooner is better, but less than 4 months, and you start running the risk of having a less. When a sponsor underplans for the publishing process, what almost always happens is that they cut into the your smaller daily submissions are going to be very similar to your large B1s and B2s. The primary difference is, of course, scale. A daily submission can be as little as 5 pages and sometimes up to about 300 pages, depending on what you're actually submitting.